what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 9, volume 1 of Big Fan. My name is Chad East. I'm not a big fan. Yes, Hank, I'm going opposite today. I am not a big fan of hurricanes.
Nobody likes hurricanes.
Florida State turnover backpack. Have you seen this? It's terrible.
Turnover backpack?
You know how last year the Miami Hurricanes had the turnover chain?
Yes.
The Florida State Seminoles brought a backpack into the mix. It looks like a man purse, and they wear it around on the sidelines if they get a turnover, and that's why their team sucks. It's because they have a turnover backpack.
Awful.
It's terrible. And meteorologists who don't know what the bleep they're talking about, because so far they don't have a clue.
Anti big fan. I like that. But
how about you?
I, on the other hand, I'm Hank Eimer, and I am a big fan of Sunday brunch, late night serenades,
Scrumptious.
hurricanes in a glass.
Oh, well,
I love that hurricane.
Well done. What is the limit of hurricanes in a glass you can partake before?
I don't know, but I've been to New Orleans twice, and the hurricane and the hand grenade are both, the drinks of choice.
Yes,
and they'll bust you up.
Have you ever heard or remember the story of one of our friends who went down to New Orleans for a big bowl game? I mean, this is like a dream trip. His team versus his his brother-in-law's team.
Yeah.
They planned it New Year's Day, blah, blah, blah. Gets to New Orleans, goes to the bar first. Too many hurricanes. Sleeps through the game.
Yeah. Got hurricaned.
Oh,
got
wow.
hurricane.
That is one of the best stories. Did he make even an effort to get up to go, or he was just like comatose out?
I think he puked everywhere. I think he was in bad news, and it wasn't like it was him and his buddy. His father-in-law was with him.
That's right.
Right.
Come on, buddy, get up! It's time for the game. His father-in-law probably picked up the tab for the hotel room and all this great stuff, and he just had to lay in the bed,
Incredible.
watching it on television.
Good work.
Way to go, fella. We come to you live September 12th.
Yep.
A lot of stuff going on today, Hank. Let's talk about, before we move on to what's going on now in our world, which is kind of scary. Mm-hmm. Yesterday was September 11th, a sacred day for our nation.
For sure.
And don't want to spend too much time, but I did want to tell you this story. I don't know if I've ever told you this story before about I have a buddy who lives in New York and actually was in one of the towers. And the actual September 11th, he was there. And so every September 11th, all my buddies, we got on our email chain and we talk. We even get on the phone some and we'll communicate. And even if it's just for a minute, say, hey, I'm glad you're still around, thinking of you on this day, because that day has special meaning for him.
Sure.
So briefly, he was in the second tower. And so on the 112th floor or something like that. So when the first plane hit, nobody knew what was going on. It's chaos, just absolute chaos.
Right.
And so his boss, he worked on that floor with maybe 30 employees in an office. And he says he'll never forget his manager saying, all right, guys, everything's going to be cool. Y'all stay here. It's going to be fine. Nobody really knows what's happening. But the safest thing for us to do is stay right here.
Oh.
And, and half of the people basically said, yes, Mr. Manager, we'll stay. The other half, including my friend, said, we're out of here.
We're
out.
Are
gone. And so he starts running downstairs, the stairs. He's 112, 110, whatever the story is. He's up there. He starts running down the stairs, passing people left and right, and it's chaos. People are pushing and falling down, and it's like life or death.
Right.
So he says he doesn't remember if it took him 20 minutes. He doesn't remember the timing of anything, but he got down to the ground, to the floor, and flung open the doors, or maybe they were already open, but just flinging maybe himself out, and just started running, right? Running, not stopping, not thinking, just running. He ran for about 1.5 miles, and then he stopped, and he looked down, and he had run out of his shoes. He didn't have his shoes on anymore. His shirt was basically halfway off, and he turned around and looked, and he could see the towers, and they were on fire, and people leaping for their lives. I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But so we talk about that every September 11th. You know, hey man, thinking of you. I'm glad you're here. And he gets together with the people that survived in his office. He hasn't, they all moved to different jobs and different.
Does he live in New York?
He still lives in New York. But the people that are still in New York will get together and eat dinner the September 11th Eve and just be together.
Whew.
What
would you have done? I mean, would you have bolted or would you have stayed?
I think I would have run. I think I would have left.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Oh,
just
unbelievable.
Thinking about how close you could have been to dying like that is amazing. And lucky for him, he had the ability to get out of the building. The individuals that were north of that were making phone calls and telling their spouses and kids that they loved them.
Yeah, we're not making it out of here. Yeah. So anyway, this Frank Mistero, if you're listening, which I think you do listen to our podcast, he's our one New York listener that we have. Hey, buddy, glad you're around.
Hey, I don't know you, but I'm thinking a lot about you, buddy.
Yeah, all right. Well, very good. Well, and also, let's think about on this day after September 11th, all the people that sacrificed their lives.
Yep.
The first responders, my goodness, the firefighters, the police officers, everybody that ran right in there, not even thinking about themselves, but thinking about trying to save someone else.
Right.
So here goes. This one goes out to them.
Thank you. Right. On that same note, I was talking to my little boy about it the other day. We were talking about soldiers.
Yes.
I was talking about like going up to soldiers and telling them thank you. You should do that. And he was asking me just a little bit about it. And I hit a point with him. I feel like I told him, I was like, when somebody's shooting at you, what is your instinct? Run. Right. These guys run to it, run towards it to protect you. They run towards people shooting at them.
Yes.
What kind of man is that? At least deserves to have somebody say thank you.
And it makes their day too. Like if I'm in an airport and I see someone in a uniform, I always do it. I make sure my girls are watching when I do it. I make sure they're right there and they do the same thing.
They do the same thing.
And so it makes their day. And, just that small gesture of thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you do. That goes a long way.
And it does. Yeah. It does. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Okay, now on to what is going on presently in our world, Hank, and it's scary. Hurricane Florence.
Yes.
The name is not scary.
No.
But what she may bring is scary. Let's talk about this. So, from what I've heard and coming to you at a 3:13 on a Wednesday, September 12th, she's supposed to make landfall on Friday, I hear. Is that right?
I think it's been delayed a little bit.
It's been delayed.
I think it's going to be Saturday evening.
Wow, that's a big delay. See, these meteorologists, they really don't know what the bleep they're talking about.
They don't know anything.
Yeah.
But it's slowed down. And it's changed paths a little bit.
Yeah, so tell me what the latest that you've heard.
Well, I've heard that it's going to hit late Saturday evening, right, and early Sunday morning, and it was on a path to kind of go straight at Raleigh, like straight on Raleigh.
Boom, destruction, yep.
Right? Well, then it turned a little bit and looked like it was going to hammer Hickory.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's turned even further down, and it looks like it's going to come in South Carolina side and really take the northern part of South Carolina, or really middle of South Carolina. Little Georgia is going to get it, and our area will get some of it, but it's at least not the eye pounding us.
Wow.
Because they're also saying that it should lose some speed once it gets in here, and so you're not looking at the 140 mile an hour winds that they're catching right now. We'll look at 30 and 40 mile an hour.
Were you alive? You were alive when Hugo came through.
Seventh grade.
You were in 7th grade.
I mean, were you alive?
I was alive. I meant what grade.
Jiminy Christmas! That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I didn't mean alive. I meant like what grade.
Look at Moose in there. He's dying. He's dying. Of course, I was alive.
What grade were you? You couldn't have been in 7th.
I think we were in 7th grade.
No.
When did 89?
I thought I was in.
It was, yeah.
Okay, I was in high school, and I would have been in like 9th grade.
Hey,
right?
You need to get
I thought you were significantly younger than I.
3 years.
Okay, well, that would make 7th grade, 9th grade. Okay, for some reason I thought you were.
God.
Hey, I'm in this band with all these really young people. I just assume everybody's like 28 and 30 years old, not 44 like me.
Sure.
But anyway, do you remember what do you remember of that day,
I remember
that day's
waking up.
event?
I remember waking up, looking out my bedroom faced the back of the house,
right,
and looking out in the back lot, and the trees were just going back and forth like nothing.
Yeah.
They were going back and forth. I also remember we lived in an older home, and it didn't have like the double pane windows, just had single pane windows. I remember putting my hand against the window and feeling it move.
Wow.
Right? Parents didn't tell me to get downstairs, didn't tell me nothing. They're like, just
come
bed.
out the window, let the glass break on you and scratch
Get
you
back
up.
to bed, boy. Get back to bed. But then I remember, staying in the house. Then when the aftermath hit, walking down to Lake Hickory Country Club's golf course and walking it, whoo, looked like matchsticks.
Destruction.
Down there. How about you?
So I was, like I mentioned, I think 9th grade, and my mom, so I lived in Bethlehem and right near the lake. And downstairs, my mom and dad's room, when you open the windows, we had a pool. And so there was like these 2 sliding glass doors, and the pool was right out there. And so my dad got us up early. I remember it being kind of early in the morning, right? Like going to school time.
It was school.
It was school time. So we went downstairs, and he said, all right, let's all stay down here in this room. And he pulled the curtains back or whatever where the sliding glass door was. And the water from the pool, the wind was getting it, and it was just blasting against the window. I was like, what? And the trees bending left and right. And so we sat, I don't think we even like spoke a word. We just all kind of just watched the power of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was also in another hurricane, and I want to say it was the one, it hit Raleigh really bad in 96. And that might have been
Andrew?
Or maybe Fran.
Okay.
Does that sound Fran?
Yeah.
So this was a great story that my buddies and I were just talking about when they heard because, Raleigh was going to get decimated by this one, and now the past turn, as you said. Well, so what we did for Fran is we went to this bar in Raleigh, and it was towards I don't remember the timing of it, maybe similar to the timing now, September, October. Well, there was a bar we'd always go to. It was called Caparel's, and it was right on Hillsborough Street, and that's the bar that everybody would go to. Well, everything was closed, but the only place that was open was still Caparel. So we all met there, and the bar owner was like, hey, y'all can stay here, but just remember at 2 o'clock we got to close. Make sure you can get home because this hurricane is probably going to get bad. At this point, it was just raining. This is probably 6 o'clock in the evening, just a little rain. Well, the winds pick up about 1 o'clock in the morning, and, we got hammered. I mean, it's tons of us. We're all hammered in college, And so couple cabs were running. The rest of us basically had to walk. So we're walking home, and the wind is so ferocious. Like, it is blowing you down the street. And so, we take our shirts off and, you can't beat me. Like at Forrest Gump, we're acting like a fool, like Lieutenant Dan. But anyway, I strongly remember that happening because it was the stupidest thing that we could do. Like power lines are falling, trees are falling, and we're walking home in the middle of a hurricane.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it was less than a mile, but still, in a mile's time, a lot of things can happen at 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of a hurricane.
Sure, mailbox get ripped off, smack you in the face.
Absolutely.
I was at Elon at that time, and I remember it coming through. And it's the funny thing, man. Isn't it great? College, man, heck, now natural disasters, you're like, I better have some beer. I better have some beer in my house.
First thing that you think about.
You better.
Yeah.
You better.
I've been to the ABC store twice, Hank. Twice in the last 2 days.
Oh, hey, you got to make sure you stock up.
Yeah, you get home and you're like, oh, I forgot this. I got to go back.
No Tito's.
Yep, going back. So anyway, I do pray for everyone's safety, and it's hopefully won't be as bad as they're predicting, but be ready in case. I didn't want to share this with you. So our friend Frank Young, Frank, good buddy of ours. Well, and Brock Long, he's the FEMA director. He's from Newton Conover. He, great dude. We see him. His kids went to my kid's school and all this stuff, and now he lives in D.C.
Good dude.
Anyway, he and Frank still keep in touch with each other very often, and he called Frank yesterday and left one of those audio messages on his phone and said, hey.
You mean a voicemail?
No, it's one of those Voxers or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, just tell all the homies in North Carolina and Hickory that I've been watching storms for 15, 20 years and watching the paths of storms. My team and I have never seen a storm form like this. He said, this is, quote, his words, "It will rearrange the coast of North Carolina. It will never be the same."
Wow.
Yes. This was before the path change, but this was yesterday morning. Also, at the end of the message, he said, and for you guys in the inner parts of North Carolina, Hickory and High Point and Greensboro and Charlotte, he said, if this thing settles in like we think it's going to be, it'd be 72 hours of torrential rain, pretty bad wind, not crazy wind, but the chances of flooding are 100%.
Significant. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the loss of power. You're going to probably lose power, 72 hours of rain, straight rain. So he said, y'all just get ready. He said, I pray for y'all. And I was like, oh, coming from the FEMA director?
Come on.
You better listen to what the FEMA director is saying.
That's exactly right. You know, you don't think about it. First of all, that dude's job, he's been getting his teeth knocked in since he got, you know, what a great dude.
Yeah.
But the other thing is the stuff he has to think about. I saw online today that in North Carolina, there's like 2,900 hog farms, right? They produce like something stupid, like 10 billion pounds of liquid waste.
Yeah.
They're held in these lagoons.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
They're held in lagoons. Lagoons can take on like 25 inches of rain. Any more than that, then they fail. Some parts of North Carolina are set to get 30 and 40 inches.
What do you do?
That ship sails is what happens. Could you imagine living in that area?
Oh,
I mean, it'll
Lord.
affect drinking water. It'll affect everything. And guess who's got to deal with it? Our boy Brock.
Brock.
Good luck, brother.
Good luck, Brock. Thinking of you, buddy. So let me ask you this question, because this actually was posed to me for one of my customers today. So my wife's family, they have a house at Oak Island, and, you know, Oak Island is going to be take a big hit from the storm. And my in-laws, I think, were down there last weekend boarding stuff up, and they said that a lot of people are staying. They're staying put. So if you had the choice, they're saying, you know, mandatory evacuation, you got to get out of here. But, you know, some people just ignore that and stay.
Right.
What would you do? Let's say your house is right on the water, and, you know, they're talking about 12 to 16-foot swells or whatever they call them. You know, that buries your house will be underwater.
Yeah, I'm good with leaving. No
questions asked.
No questions
We
asked.
outta here.
We're out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid to have to think that you would question that.
Right.
You know, I mean, unless you have some sort of death wish, because if you're living on the coast and you're getting hit with 140 mile, like this is obviously a stretch, but 140 mile an hour wind, a piece of straw could probably go through your skin. You know, I mean, it's like a needle. So, I mean, it's not like you need to get hit by a brick.
Yeah.
You know, you get hit by a whatever, kid's toy that was outside.
Yeah.
Lawn dart.
Sure. I was on Facebook just a little while ago, and this one dude I know is from New Bern, and he was asking all his buddies, all right, who's staying and who's leaving? Well, I was reading all the comments. I'm just curious, you know, like I don't live on the
curious
coast.
or
Curious.
Okay.
I don't know what's going through people's heads. You know, there's a different mentality of people that live on the coast and people that live where we do.
Sure.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're similar in many ways, but in many ways we're different.
Sure.
Basically, the answers, the consensus was, if you're from this town, let's say it's called Morehead City,
Yeah.
or New Bern, they said, if you're from here, no, this is actually what they said. The only people that are leaving are the transplants, not the people from here. The people that are from here, we ain't leaving. So a lot of them are going to stay.
That's dumb.
I think so too. Too much to risk. Your life is at risk. Get the hell out. Pronto. Right, yes.
Way to go.
Thanks. So Hurricane, what's her name again?
Florence. Flo.
Hurricane Florence. Here she comes. Hank, exciting news happened today too. My sister had a baby girl today.
Look
Her
at
name
her.
is Adeline, and they're going to call her Addie, and she's 7 pounds of joy.
Adeline. Isn't that sweet?
Little Addie.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Owen will have a little sister, Addie, and we're going to go see. She will be in the hospital the next couple of days. That's the other thing that worried me. You know, if the hurricane hospitals have backup generators, you know, so everything would be cool. But still, it would probably be a little bit worrisome if you're in the hospital having a baby and a hurricane is going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, yeah. For sure.
Scary.
Speaking of generators, can I
Yes,
say?
please.
So, you know, we have this property out in Vail that my father-in-law and I own together. And it's significant. It's a lot of property, so we have chainsaws and stuff like that out there that we have to deal with. So he went out there yesterday and he was like, I'm going to go get our chainsaw. We have 2 out there. He's like, I'm going to go get the chainsaws just in case we need them around the house. I was like, that sounds great. He's like, I'm going to grab the generator too. I said, perfect. So he comes into town. He's like, hey, I went ahead and dropped those chainsaws off at your house because you're probably going to need them. He didn't say nothing about that generator. I was like,
he's keeping that generator.
I know
boy.
he is, man.
Yeah.
I thought for sure I'd get used to that thing. Mm-mm. So I know where I'm going to have to go.
Well, they have some at the Lowe's on 70.
I have one, Chad.
Oh, you have one.
I
Okay.
have one. It's my father-in-law is taking it to his house. I don't need 2.
You gotta let him keep that. Come on, do the right thing, son-in-law. Let your father-in-law have power while you struggle by candlelight.
This is not an option for me, Chad. You act like I have a choice in this. He's taking the generator.
Yeah, it's good for him. Well, let him keep it, and you go get your own. They're on sale. Actually, they're probably ×3 the price of what they normally
That's
are
exactly
here.
what they are.
Price gouging, but I'm just kidding. Lowe's, I'm sure they would be fair to everyone, but they have them because I was out there today buying tarps. Had my new roof last year. Brand new roof. We have a flat section, brand new. Still leaks like a mother. So I have to buy tarps on a brand new damn roof and cover it up.
You got to get...
What are you shaking your head?
Why isn't that roofer coming back and fixing that roof?
We made a couple calls. Don't seem to return any of her phone calls. I'm not going to put him on blast right now,
Right here?
which I really should. Put this dude on blast, but I'm going to do the tarps. You know how much a tarp is, too?
Oh, here we go.
20 foot by 16 foot is a piece of plastic or whatever it is. I don't know. And it just sits there and lays flat. It was $68.
Tarp life.
Tarp life.
Tarp life.
They had one tarp.
We're in the wrong business.
No kidding.
We need to be in the tarp business.
This was just a plain blue over green. They had a straight silver one, same 20 by 16. Thing was $108, and it was just the color was different.
Yeah.
Oh, let me create a red tarp and charge it $212. You know what? This tarp business. Whew, yeah, we're missing out, buddy.
Tarp life.
Tarp life. We need to get involved here.
Man, we have derailed.
Wow, what were we just talking about? My sister. So my sister will be in the hospital for a couple more days, and she's coming home. Hopefully the hurricane will be good in Charlotte, and everything will be fine.
Hi, I'm Alan.
I'm Chris.
And we're the co-hosts of Foot Candle Films, a movie review and film discussion show here on themesh.tv.
Each episode, we talk about some new movies, cover some film news, and have some recommendations.
And trust us, we're just as likely to talk about the latest Jim Jarmusch film as we are the newest Transformers installment.
Hold on, don't get too crazy.
Well, okay, maybe not that bad. But you can find our show and all our episodes on themesh.tv. Plus, you can subscribe to get new episodes delivered right to your computer or mobile device.
We'll see you in the ticket line.
I did get a funny text, 2 funny texts this past weekend. You know, football season started, Hank, and fantasy football for us, which is a big deal in our life. And this one gentleman who is a Hickory guy, and he lives in Cleveland, Ohio now, he said in this text, he said, hey, man, your new podcast is really something special. However, I do miss when you and Hank would pick football games. And he said, the reason I really liked you picking football games is because I would go opposite of whatever you liked. And it afforded me very nice Christmas presents for my kids last year. Basically, he's saying our picks sucked, which I will have to agree with. Mine in particular really sucked last year. Yours were not too much better either. You smiling over there like
I'm not smiling at all.
Smug as hell.
I'm
Like, look
smiling.
at me.
What I'm thinking about is how I can get to this guy. How can I get to Matt
I've got his
Pearsall?
number, yes. And if you want to fly up to Cleveland, he's right near the Brown Stadium, which they did not win again. They had a chance to win, and they tie. How terrible is this franchise?
It is awful.
They cannot win.
It's awful.
Fucking great.
It's
Love it.
awful.
So anyway, I thought for my friend in Cleveland and a couple other people who do miss our small football segments, I'm going to hit you with the Las Vegas lines.
Couple picks.
For next week, you just give me what you think. I'm going to give you the names, give you the line. You pick them. We'll call this our football. What was it? Fantasy 15 before? And look, nobody.
We'll call this our football picks.
Football picks of the week. Okay, here you go, Hank. The first game. This is a Thursday night game. We'll fly through them. Baltimore at Cincinnati. The number Baltimore -1.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, me too. Indianapolis, first game on Sunday. Indianapolis at Washington. Washington with that big upset win against Arizona, -5.
I like Washington.
I like Indianapolis. You like a -5?
Yep.
You got them. Indianapolis plus the 5 for me. Carolina at Atlanta. You watched the ball game. Carolina,
Yep.
their defense was phenomenal. Offense, playing at Atlanta. Atlanta loses last Thursday to Philly. Atlanta -5.
Atlanta.
I like Atlanta too. Minnesota at Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, got to check out your injury report to see if he's going to play. He said he would. Minnesota at Green Bay. The line is a pick 'em.
Man, it's hard to go against Aaron Rodgers. But I think I'm going to go to Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota too. Aaron Rodgers is going to be gimpy regardless.
Under.
And that Minnesota defense is going to break his other leg. LA Chargers at Buffalo. Chargers -9.
Ooh, 9's a big number.
It's a huge
But
number.
I like the, yeah.
That's just so many
That's
points.
too big a number.
Me too. Let me get the Buffalo plus the 9. I like what you're thinking. However, Buffalo might not win a game all year. They are horrendous.
Garbage.
47-3 last week.
Yeah, that's
God,
not
that's
good news.
really bad. Josh Allen will be starting for Buffalo. Houston at Tennessee. Marcus Mariota. There's no line. They pulled this game. I don't know why they pulled this game off the Las Vegas line, but maybe there's too many injuries. Would that make sense? I don't know. No line. Who would you pick? Houston at Tennessee.
Houston.
All day. Kansas City at Pittsburgh. Kansas City looked great last week. Pittsburgh in that tie against Cleveland. Pittsburgh -5.
I'm betting against who's Pittsburgh playing?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. I'm taking Kansas City.
Kansas City. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. Miami at the Jets. Jets look great Monday night. Miami got their first win Sunday. It's a pick 'em.
Did the Jets look that much better, or did Stafford just suck?
Detroit looks terrible.
Yeah. I'll still go with the Jets.
Yeah, I'll lean the Jets too, but Detroit might not win a game. If they play like that, good Lord.
That's my starting quarterback.
I know it is. I saw you pick somebody up on the fantasy waiver wire. Thank you. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay shocked the world to beat the Saints last week. Can they do the same thing at home against Philly? Philadelphia -3.
Yep. Tampa Bay.
You like, give me Philly. Cleveland at New Orleans. New Orleans -9.
New Orleans.
Like it. Arizona at the Rams. Rams -12.5.
God, that's a lot of points. I love the Rams.
Give me the Rams. I like the Rams too. Arizona, they might not win a game either all year. I wonder if Detroit, Arizona, or Buffalo play each other, so someone's guaranteed to win.
Guaranteed to win.
Detroit, here are 4 o'clock games. Detroit at San Fran. San Fran minus. It started at 3. Now it's -6.
Yeah, it's San Fran still.
San Fran. New England at Jacksonville. Jacksonville +1 at home. New England.
Yeah.
New England. Oakland at Denver. Denver -4.
Oakland.
Did you watch them?
They're not good.
They're terrible. But
They got to get better.
Right. I don't know. John Gruden, does he know what he's doing? He hadn't been in the game in a long time.
He had some funny plays. You shouldn't
First half.
I don't like him calling his
half.
own plays. Pay attention to the game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel
right.
like there's a lot going on.
Plus, you haven't called a play in like 14 years. You know, it's just not. You can't just run up the middle anymore, there, Mr. Gruden.
No.
Giants Sunday night at Dallas. Dallas -3.
Dallas.
Lock of the year, Giants. Mark it down, plus the 3. Monday Night Football, this wraps it up for the football picks of the week. Seattle at Chicago. Chicago -3.5.
I'm going with Seattle.
Seattle with the hook. The hook saves them there. Good job. That wraps up that segment, football picks of the week. Hank, let's talk a little bit about, you're a runner.
I am a runner.
You're a runner. Used to do triathlons, maybe?
Yep.
So that means you used to bike, swim, and run.
I did.
Now you're focusing more on running.
Well, it's just easier. You know, biking, to get the same workout that you can get in 45 minutes running, you have to ride 2 hours.
Sure, understood. How often do you have to how long swimming to get the same kind of workout?
I think it's probably the same as running. You know,
Really?
You swim for 45 minutes. That's a workout.
Oh, it's a great workout. I thought it might be less.
It may be less.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I don't have my chart.
Oh, well, get your chart. Bring your chart next time. Talk to me a little bit about what you experienced last weekend. You had a big race.
We did. Well, you know, all of us, you know, we're all the problem is I hang out with guys, a lot of guys that do run as well, you not being one of them.
Yes, I do not run.
Yeah, unless somebody is chasing you.
Yes, a big bear chasing.
So we were in a race this past Friday. It started Friday, and it's from Grayson Highlands, Virginia to Asheville, which is 209 miles. So you have 2 vans with 12 guys,
Yeah.
and there's 36 legs, so you get 3 legs each. And my first leg, I was the 11th runner. So you go, your first runner takes off. We took off at 11:30, and he might run 6 miles. The next guy might run 4. The next guy
You have to,
run 9.
tag each other? Do you have to pass a baton?
Slap bracelet.
Oh, you're kidding. Slap the bracelet, boom. The
Boom.
guy off
There you go.
the races.
The fastest that we've ever done it was just over 25 hours, I believe. But, the cool thing is like, first van goes. I was in the second van because I was 11th run. First van goes, and we go eat. We're not going to see them for 6 hours or so.
Wow.
So, but their van has to go from stop to stop, but you're on your own. Okay. So like when you're running on your own, we finished 18th overall, and we had some hiccups in our race, and there were 191 teams, and we were 18th. So I bet you without the hiccups, we probably would have been in 15th, top 15. But so we started, and one of our guys got lost, and
So this is the part I want to learn about.
Okay.
So when I think about a race, and that's listen for all our listeners. You think about a race, you're thinking about, hey, you're running beside a competitor, and you're running, and it's well lit, and it's there's lines and there's signs and everything. We're not talking about the same kind of race here, right?
No. So
Okay.
they have signs and they have blinky lights on them, but
Right.
some people pick them up. Some people knock them over. Some
Yeah.
people, it's not always. So you do have a map that everybody gets at the beginning of the race with every leg, and you should look at it. Right. You should look at it. Well, our guy took a missed turn. It was supposed to be a 6.5 mile run. It ended up being a 10-mile run.
He ran an extra 4 hours.
No, not 4 hours. 3 miles,
Oh, miles.
not hours.
I would start fearing for my life if I got lost for 4 hours.
Roughly 30 minutes.
Are you out in the middle of the woods and it's dark? Is this at a night?
This was in the
nighttime?
in the middle of the day.
Middle of the
when
day.
this one happened.
I see.
Okay, and so it was at 4:00, so you can imagine how hot it was.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so he gets in and he's pissed,
Angry.
yeah, really angry, and he gets in, and then we start our legs. Well, because we're one of the faster teams, we start in the back because they really want everybody to finish together.
Sure.
In Asheville, and so they start the slower teams out ahead of you, like at 5 a.m., and we start at 11:30. So by the time it gets to me, I mean, all of our legs, we are by ourselves when we start. And like the people that are at the station are picking up their crap while we're leaving because we're the last people to come through. My first leg was awesome. There was a road that was closed, and so you couldn't run on 221. And so what they ended up doing is instead of getting on that road, a property owner who owns a tree farm allowed you to run through his property, a Christmas tree farm.
Christmas tree farm, yeah.
If you ever been to a Christmas tree farm, it's straight uphill.
Sure.
So there were 2 just ridiculous climbs that I had to do, but the view at the top was incredible. It was incredible.
Not to interrupt you, but if I don't go into the tarp business, I might go into the Christmas tree farming business because you can make a lot of money for that. It takes a lot of work, granted.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cut these trees down by myself, but if the tarp thing doesn't work out for me, Christmas trees, here I come.
Here you go.
Yes.
Okay. So then, at the end, so we got done with ours, I'd say about our legs, we got done about 7:30, okay, van 2. So van 2 hands off to van 1. Van 1 starts running right then.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, so they'd been sitting there waiting on us. We go and eat dinner, and we leapfrog to the end of their last leg, lay down in the middle of the field beside our van,
Yeah.
get about 15 minutes of sleep. Okay, because you can't get any sleep because there's people slamming car doors and runners.
There's other
getting ready.
teams around you in this field?
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. So that happens. So they end up calling us and they're like, "Hey, such and such just left. We'll be there in 40 minutes." So now our runners got to get ready. So then we go. You run your second leg and it's 3:30 in the morning. Well, one of our runners got hurt. Okay, so he couldn't run.
Oh, no.
So my leg in the middle of the night was at 3 in the morning. The runner was not the next leg, but the next leg. Okay, so I hand off. No, I'm sorry. It was the leg after mine.
Right.
So he couldn't run. So I get done running, and I hand it off to another guy.
Sub, yep.
I sit in the van for 12 minutes. He runs 2.4 miles. I get back out, run the other 3.6.
Unbelievable.
Right? Finish off there, leapfrog to the next place, sleep for an hour. Hey, we're almost there. We're going to be there in a minute. Finish the run.
And this is considered fun. This is fun, a fun event for you.
It is fun. It's fun because of the camaraderie. The running's not the hard part.
Yeah.
Because you can run as fast as you want. There's big hills. You walk them if you want, whatever. It's the 3 a.m. in the van. talking trash about the music that this guy's trying to play, or how bad that guy stinks,
Right.
or whatever it is.
I was going to ask about the smell of the van. I mean, it's got to be hideous.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. Finished, like I said, about 18th overall. There's other teams from Hickory.
Yeah.
This is great. You'll appreciate this. And they were talking a little bit of trash, and our team's a little bit faster than their team. So we made a bet, and we handicapped us by an hour and a half. Okay? We had to beat them by an hour and a half. Well, we ended up an hour, but we lost that half hour because we were short. So it would have been really close. They started an hour in front of us, okay? And so when we're getting onto our last legs, we're getting closer and closer to them. We're catching them.
I see.
So we're going to end together. So I have the second to last leg, and their guy leaves about 8 minutes before me. But it's a steep climb, and I like to run hills. So I was like, I got a pretty good shot at catching or taking some time, not catching him.
Right.
Because it was only a 4-mile run. So he goes 8 minutes. I get the slap bracelet and I take off. So I start taking off and climb that hill. Then I come in screaming down those last two, because the last two are 2 miles. Get down to the bottom.
You see him?
No.
Oh,
Get down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And Knox Tate, our buddy Knox Tate, is running the final leg, right? And he's fast.
He's very fast.
He's fast. Slap that bracelet on him. How many minutes ago did they leave? 3 minutes.
Wow. You made up 5 on him.
Made up 5.
Good for you, boy.
So the last leg was Knox Tate chasing this guy down. Missed him by about 30 yards.
Oh, wow.
But the work that he did to get down there.
Do you meet at the finish line so you can see your teammate come across? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, when you take the van down, you'll stop at different sections and cheer him on and be like, he's 40 yards ahead of you. He's whatever. So
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
Well, good, man. I'm sure that gives you a sense of achievement, too, when you finish and y'all have done it together as a team. Doing something as a team, there's not a better feeling. Like playing tennis and individually or doing this and that, and it's a great feeling if you win. But when you win as a team, I'm telling you, there's no other better feeling.
No better feeling.
Love it.
That's it.
Well, good. While you were running in the woods and in the dark and all that stuff, I was helping to MC this great event in Hickory called the Auto Lawn. Mm-hmm. I think it was the sixth year for the Auto Lawn, and this year was European cars, Mercedes. There was a lot of motorcycles this year, but the coolest thing they had, Burt Reynolds passed away last week. They had an original Smokey and the Bandit. You know that Pontiac Trans Am Smokey and the Bandit?
Oh, yeah.
It was there.
Whoa. Original or just a remake?
They had a whole story about it. It was probably a remake, but it was based on this one. They had the original dealer sticker, how much it cost for the car. The car was $5,800 back in 1970, whatever.
Right.
And with the add-ons, the total sticker price was $7,200 for that bad automobile. That car was bad, man.
Yeah, it was.
Check it out on Facebook if you ever get a chance. Andy Roney took a bunch of pictures of it. It is phenomenal. Anyway, it's a great turnout. Got out there about 9:30 in the morning. Set up. They had the beer garden and the Sausage Works thing from Lowe's, and all the cars were set up. And it got to be about 95, 96 degrees that day. Well, I'm on a stage that is got a truck bed that they built up, and it's a metal floor. And I was supposed to have an umbrella or a tent to kind of shade the 95-degree direct sunlight that's hitting the metal and reflecting back and absorbing into my body.
Double heat.
Yes, the umbrella didn't show up, and the tent was too big to fit on the tractor or the stand. So, yeah, dude, I bet I sweated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2018 Auto Lawn. And sweat is pouring into my mouth and in my ears and all kinds of stuff. But we made it through. It was a great event, raised a bunch of money. This cool band played, JJ Hips. They played at 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 4. Then we wrapped it up, and then we all went out in the lake and messed around a little bit. So it was a fun event.
I knew one of the judges. One of the youth judges that were there.
Yeah. What did he say about the event?
He said that it was very a lot of fun, a lot of cool cars. The newer cars are the ones that they really like. I hear there was a McLaren there.
It was,
and so
yes.
he came back with I guess it's Haggerty is the the company that was there, kind of like judging or
Yes.
doing whatever. He came back with when I'm talking about my little boy, he came back with sunglasses, Haggerty sunglasses, and a junior judge hat and all
Yes.
this stuff. So he thought he was it.
Did he tell you he got on the stage for about 45 minutes and played Flippy Cup with his friend while I'm on the mic trying to do my business?
No, he did not tell me that. But you can go to him and be like, hey,
I know. They were having so much fun, though. So I turn around and, like, I keep hearing, and it was their cup, their bottle flashing off hitting the tree and, falling down. But anyway, they were having a ball. It was a really good event. I'm glad I was a part of it.
Good.
Well, buddy, we're going to wrap this episode up. I do want us to talk a little bit about what's happening next week, because I know you got some cool stuff happening in a week, and I've got a real special trip planned next Thursday. We'll let you start. Go ahead.
It's going to sound like I'm a big golfer.
And I've seen your game, and obviously you're not.
That's unfortunate that he put me in that position. But it's going to seem because of the adventure I just had at Pine Valley, which is incredible. Well, I'm getting ready to go play another golf course that's really a really pretty golf course called Fisher Island. And it's off the coast of New York. And right off kind of like Long Island, I believe.
Yeah.
And you can ferry or you can fly in. And
swim.
Or swim. Water taxi. But we're going to ferry over. And it's just one of those courses. It's like Pine Valley. It's one of the courses that you don't get on. And the reason that we're going is it's a fundraiser for an organization that's kind of like Young Life.
Yeah.
And a good friend of ours, mother was part of the organization for years and years and years. And so they still are a part of it. So, we're going up there to play in the golf tournament for that organization. Cool. They have it every other year there. And it's one of the only tournaments.
How do they get it there? Like what? I mean, how are they able to do that?
I don't ask those questions.
I
just show up and play. But it's really cool. It's going to be an adventure, and I get to go with guys. I don't want to call them my friends, but I heard a quote the other day, and I think it's true, and it doesn't say much for our crowd, but it was that we are the average of the 5 people we hang out with the most.
Oh, wow. That's a great quote. We are the average of the 5 people that we hang out the most.
And I just went through, the top,
that's a scary
top few that I hang out with, and I hate every quality about them. I don't want any part of them, especially not the average part of them.
Absolutely. And speaking to this, did you notice on the tennis court the other day, 2 of your really good friends who I would consider in your top 5 got in a little bit of it reminded me of a kindergarten kind of fight where somebody said something and the other was like, man, what do you mean by that? Anyway, they took a tennis ball. They're standing 4 feet across from each other and just hit the ball as hard as they could at the other person 4 feet away. I mean,
I guarantee they missed each other,
They definitely
too.
missed each other. They missed each other, but it was hilarious. It was like, God dang, guys, are y'all 6 years old?
They are.
It's hilarious.
They are. I'll tell you, that's the good thing. The good thing about being able to live in your hometown is that the relationships that you have. So you take how long we've known each other. Okay, middle school maybe, right? Probably middle school. We're going to know each other longer. Probably not now, but if we were to say, I knew you really well in your 20s and in your 30s. And I have 40 more years with you. What else am I going to learn about you? And it's like these guys, we run 3 times a week together. We play tennis together. We do a bunch of stuff together. People ask me all the time, what do you guys talk about? It is the most ridiculous crap in the world because we have nothing else to tell each other.
Sure, because you know everything about each other.
I don't want to hear any more about them.
Sure, absolutely. That's great. Well, speaking of friends, I am going. We've been looking forward to this trip, my wife and I, for at least. It's been about a solid year we've had this thing planned. So one of our buddies who I've been friends with, he's probably one of my dearest friends I ever made in college. Just the guy that would give the shirt off his back. Anything that's happening, he is there for you. He's getting married. He's getting married at 44 years old, and he finally met the right girl, and she's fabulous. So
where are they getting married?
Golden, Colorado.
That's right outside Denver.
Right, 20 minutes from Denver. So here's
I drove through Golden when I was in Denver.
You told me, yes. Yeah. And you said it was a beautiful place.
Beautiful.
So we're flying out Thursday after work. We arrive in Denver at 8:20.
Dispensary stop?
I'm worried. Now we can talk about this if you will. I'm a little worried about the potency of some of the things, the dispensaries.
It's just the elevation.
Is that what it is?
It is.
The high altitude?
It's the high altitude.
Well, anyway, we'll talk about the off air, okay? But you can give me your pointers, if you will. And I know Moose back there in the production booth, he's got lots of pointers, right, Moose?
He just gave a thumbs up.
So we fly in, we get there at 8:30. There's 40 of us, 40 deep flying in this joint. So we're all going to meet at this cool bar at this hotel. I don't know. Anyway, we're doing that. I'm playing golf at 8:08 Friday morning. After golf,
Why'd choose it that early?
Because my buddy's dad and all his friends, they're coming.
Oh, okay.
And so they
got old men in there.
Yeah, they said at the tee time they're gonna want to get out there early, and it's supposedly the golf course is beautiful, right? The mountain scenery in the background. Oh, I can't wait. Then we meet after the golf at 12:30. Eat lunch with the whole crew. Breweries, 4 brewery tours starting
in Denver.
One of them is the Coors one. And then we're on these vans. We're going to all these other ones. 4 breweries in that afternoon from 1:30 till whenever. So tell me about a brewery tour. And I mean, you're not getting hammered in those things. You're just taste testing, or are you getting hammered?
Okay, so I did. I was out there for work, and they set up. We did a winery, a brewery, and a cider place.
Yeah.
It didn't stop us from drinking as much as we wanted in those places.
Okay.
So I would think that you can feel as good as you want to feel when you leave this.
Yeah. So anyway, and our wives are going with us. I mean, I'm just worried. 4 brewery tours for a lot of these females. They're going to be passing out left and right, but we'll figure it out. We'll get a plan. Saturday, we wake up. The party for the wedding starts at 2 and it goes to 8. And I just found out the other day I've been challenged to a dance off, so I get to experience that. Someone is coming at me, Hank.
Somebody's coming at you?
Yeah. So
do you know this cat?
No. So my buddy was just warning me. He was like, "You better have your A game because dude is coming after you." And one of my friends said, "Hey, if you take a swing at the king, you best not miss." Isn't that nice? That's what he said. I was like, "Hey, boy, I appreciate that." And anyway, so I don't know this dancing abilities of this guy that's coming at me, but we'll have
how's the ACL?
I'm going to have both braces on, left and right braces. Will be on my knees. So we'll do that Saturday night. And then
I cannot wait to hear about this.
It's going to be pretty cool. Then after the wedding thing ends at 8, he's going to take us to all these other places. And I guess we're going into Denver.
So he's already married. They're just having a party.
Exactly.
Okay.
He got married a couple months ago. And then to wrap it all up on Sunday, I'm going to Red Rocks, the auditorium, to listen to this band, and I think
I don't believe it's an auditorium. I believe it's an amphitheater.
Amphitheater, yes. It's called Green Sky Bluegrass, which I just heard is a phenomenal bluegrass band that actually brings a little rock and roll to the scene. So we'll be doing that Sunday, and then we fly out Monday morning at 10.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my bucket list kind of deals. Go to Red Rock. I mean, to see a band. There's a station. Yeah, I don't know what station it is, but all they used to do is have like outdoor concerts on it, and it'd be like anywhere from Jason Mraz to Hootie and the Blowfish or whatever.
Right.
And the Red Rock ones were always just deadly.
Yes. I was going to tell you the rest of the lineup. So the Revivalists play the day before. You ever heard of the Revivalists? Yep. Before we get there, 9 Inch Nails plays the day before. Trombone Shorty and Galactic, which I hear Galactic is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're playing the day after. Beck plays 2 days after, and Lauryn Hill plays 3 days after. We've already seen Lauryn Hill, and we weren't very impressed.
Play your old stuff.
Yeah, please.
Come on, nobody wants to hear your new stuff.
Yeah, don't remix it either.
I know. Don't sing it fast when it's supposed to be slow.
Yes, come on.
It's kind of like, but you know what? That Weezer song that we listened to at the beginning, Africa, they did a great job with that song.
Because they copied it exactly the way that Toto or whoever sang it, right?
Toto, yeah.
Exactly the way.
But I actually like that one.
It's a good song. Absolutely good song. So anyway, that's what's in store for us next weekend. We'll come to you guys in about 2 more weeks and tell you all about it. And I can't believe you haven't bragged on this yet, Hank.
What's that?
Fantasy football. We met face-to-face, first week, head-to-head, and you beat me. And you haven't mentioned one word. Thank you for being so humble.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. When you've been a champion multiple times, there's just stairs to the top.
Yeah.
And you just happen to be a stair.
One of the stairs.
Okay. So this does not win me a championship. It just brings me one step closer to the championship. I'm not, I'm not really excited about this win. I should have made this. I should have won. So I'm not excited about
If
it.
it wasn't for one dude, Alvin Kamara, I would have waxed you, but the dude went crazy, 41 points. So what do you say? Good drafting by you, right?
Exactly.
Great drafting. All right, Hank. Well, this will wrap up another edition of The Big Fan. Glad to be back in the studio with you.
I am too.
And be safe, please. Be safe.
You too.
Impending weather.
We're going to be hunkering down in the basement? Is that where you're going?
It floods down there.
Really?
I mean, I don't
Water
know
everywhere.
I don't know if I want to be swimming down there. We're going to figure it out, but probably in the basement. I did have a basement dude about a month ago. After all that stuff happened in my basement,
Yeah.
he came and resealed all this stuff for the French drain, and so maybe it'll hold up. It hasn't rained since all that accident happened.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be okay, but that's where we'll plan to be, is in the basement.
Right. If you need it, I have a basement as well. You can come on over.
I'll swim over.
Swim
Check
over.
Yeah.
Canoe.
Yeah, canoe over. Well, thank you for that. And thank you to our listeners. We'll look forward to talking to you in about 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right. Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.